Hi children, good morning everyone. Here, welcome back to the class, and we are discussing the geography lesson of 7th class, right? In that already we discussed module 1, and today we are going to discuss about the module 2. That is the lesson air. Okay? In the first module, what we discussed actually? Yes, we discussed about the composition of the atmosphere, right? What is the composition of the atmosphere? Actually, atmosphere is the mixture of the different gases. Okay, and in that the oxygen, hydrogen, nitrogen, argon, helium, right, and different dust, some small dust particles also there with that gases, right? And in that we discussed which amount is having which gas, like that we discussed everything. Okay, and coming to here module 2. In this, structure of the atmosphere. Okay, composition of the atmosphere is completely about the gases. Okay, whatever the gases we have, and how that gases will be useful to us in our daily life, right? Oxygen, nitrogen, okay, hydrogen, carbon dioxide, how we will use in our daily life, how it will be useful to us, and the same time plants also. Okay, so now here in the module 2, the structure of the atmosphere. Okay, already you heard, you know the structure of the atmosphere in the previous classes also. Just about the layers we know, right? So structure of the atmosphere contains 5 layers. Okay, in that the first one is troposphere, the second one stratosphere, the third one is mesosphere, and the fourth one is thermosphere, and the last and final one is the exosphere. Okay, so in that the first one, troposphere. Okay, this is the first layer of the atmosphere, and at the same time this is the densest layer of the atmosphere. Okay, lowest layer, first layer, and important layer of the atmosphere. And in this layer only oxygen will exist, right? What we need for our daily life, for our survival. Oxygen is compulsory, no? Yesterday also we discussed about oxygen, right? So in that way here oxygen exists in the layer of the troposphere. Okay, here in the troposphere actually almost the atmosphere will be up to the 11 kilometers, but the troposphere extends up to 13 kilometers of height in the earth's surface. Okay, and in that 13 kilometers actually here we can consider at the poles and at the equator. At the poles it is 8 kilometers of height, and coming to the equator it will be 18 kilometers variation. On an average it will extend 13 kilometers of the height. Okay, so in that way here height is extending, and by going to 1 kilometer height the temperature will decrease. 6.5 degrees Celsius of temperature will decreases at 1 kilometer ascent, right? So the change in the temperature, and that is the increase in the altitude. Okay, that is called as lapse rate. Here it is clear now. Coming to the height in the troposphere, actually the atmosphere is complete atmosphere is in the 11 kilometers of height only, but in that height going to 1 kilometer height the temperature will decreases. Okay, but going to 1 kilometer height the 6.5 degrees Celsius of the temperature will decrease. That change in the temperature is called as lapse rate. Okay, so and this troposphere is also called as weather making zone, because all the physical processes of the weather like wind, storms, rainfall, mist, fog, hails, all we can see in this layer only, troposphere, right? This is about the troposphere. And next coming to the stratosphere. Okay, after tropopause means the upper limit of the tropopause is called as troposphere, right? So after the tropopause, stratosphere will start. Okay, this stratosphere is extended up to the 50 kilometers of height, and the upper limit of the stratosphere also called as stratopause. Here the temperature will be constant for few kilometers. After going back to raising, after few kilometers it will rise gradually. Okay, and in this layer no any disturbances, means no clouds, no rains, no storms, right? This is completely weather avoiding zone. Okay, and it will be helpful to the jet flights to fly in. Okay, this is the ideal zone for the jet flights. So children, in this stratosphere only we can find out the ozone layer. Okay, that is very important layer, and that ozone layer will absorbs the harmful ultraviolet rays. Okay, so in that way here the ozone layer will be the important layer here. That is the thinnest layer in the stratosphere. Okay, in this stratosphere the altitude will be 15 to 30 kilometers height, right? And here the ozone layer is destroying nowadays because of chlorofluorocarbons, that is CFCs. Okay, that CFCs are from where we are getting. In that CFCs we can find industrial chemicals, right? And yesterday we discussed in the global warming. Okay, so many industries are releasing different gases, many gases into the atmosphere, right? So that atmosphere is disturbing, the natural balance is disturbing. Okay, so here the same way the ozone layer also, the thinnest ozone layer is becoming disturbing because of this chlorofluorocarbons, CFCs, that we will find in the industrial chemicals and refrigerators, right? Home installations and disposable food containers, right? In all that things we can find these CFCs. So we need to avoid. And one more important thing, whatever the jet flights are traveling in that stratosphere, from that also that CFCs will release. Okay, so we need to avoid that all the things if we want to protect our ozone layer. Okay, so in this also the upper limit of the stratosphere is called as the stratopause, and after this mesosphere will start. After the completion of the stratosphere, mesosphere will start, and this will be extended up to the 80 kilometers of height, and upper limit of the mesosphere also called as mesopause. Children, in this mesosphere once again the temperature begins decrease once more time, right? And here we can see meteoroids, just like rock fragments which are traveling through the space, right? And whenever they are passing through this layer of the atmosphere, it will burn up, and sometimes it will passes through this layer and it will touch the surface of the earth. Those are called as meteorites. Okay, so this is about the mesosphere. And next, coming to the thermosphere, this is the fourth layer of the earth. Okay, in this fourth layer of the earth, thermosphere, it extends up to 80 to 400 kilometers of height in between. Okay, and here ionosphere is the part of the thermosphere, and this layer helps in radio transmission. Okay, actually that radio transmission, radio waves transmitted from the earth, and at the same time they will back to the earth surface by this layer, thermosphere. Okay, and this thermosphere is the highest layer. Okay, means comparatively with these true layers, at the three layers. Troposphere we already discussed, up to 13 kilometers of height, and the next stratosphere, coming to the stratosphere, up to 50 kilometers of height, and next coming to the third layer, mesosphere, 50 to 80 kilometers of height. So coming to thermosphere, it is increased more. Okay, 80 to 400 kilometers of height. Okay, so this is the layer, and ionosphere also is the part of in this thermosphere. Okay, so children, after completion of the thermosphere, here we can see the last layer of the atmosphere, that is exosphere. Okay, so this exosphere is the uppermost layer of the atmosphere, and beyond the ionosphere it will be extends, right? So here we can see this in this layer of the earth, we can see we can't determine the upper limit of the exosphere because it is very high, it merges with the interplanetary space. Okay, so for that reason we can't determine its upper limit, right? And here the temperature also very high, 5500 degrees Celsius. Okay, and here the density also very low and the air also very thin. Okay, only lighter gases we can identify here. Lighter gases means what are those? Yes, hydrogen and helium are the lighter gases. Only that kind of gases we can find here in the exosphere. Okay children, so let me show you some slides about this. Children, see the slides here. This first slide shows the structure of the atmosphere. In this we can see the total 5 layers: troposphere, stratosphere, mesosphere, thermosphere and exosphere. And in each layer also the gravity pushes the layers of air down on the earth's surface. Okay, this push is called the air pressure. 99% of the total mass of the atmosphere is below 32 kilometers. Okay, that is in the troposphere and stratosphere, right? Already we know troposphere 13 kilometers height and stratosphere 50 kilometers of height, mesosphere 50 to 80 kilometers height, and mesosphere to thermosphere 80 to 400 kilometers of height, and after that above exosphere can be, right? And next, first the troposphere. Already we discussed here weather layer, and we lives in this layer. Water vapor and carbon dioxide are important gases for weather conditions. So as altitude increases, air pressure decreases and temperature also decreases, right? So the total thickness of the layer is 13 kilometers. At the poles 8 kilometers, and coming to the equator 18 kilometers, right? So this altitude sickness, humans feeling ill due to the effects of lowered air pressure at increased altitudes. The next layer, stratosphere, extends around 31 miles above the earth's surface, can be 4 to 12 miles, right? Holds 19% of the atmosphere's gases but very little water vapor. And next, coming to the mesosphere. The layer above the stratosphere is the mesosphere, and it extends up to 80 kilometers of height, and this is the coldest layer, and this is the coldest layer of the atmosphere, where temperatures have been measured as low as minus 93 degrees Celsius. And next, coming to thermosphere. This is the fourth layer of the atmosphere, extends up to 80 kilometers to 480 kilometers above the earth's surface. Temperature increases, and with an increase in altitude and become very hot. Average temperature is 980 degrees Celsius and 1796 Fahrenheit. Ionosphere, already we discussed, ionosphere is the part of the thermosphere. Next, the last layer of the exosphere, atmosphere is exosphere. The exosphere is the outermost layer of the atmosphere, extend into outer space, interplanetary space it merges, right? The temperature in the exosphere goes up with altitude. Satellites orbit Earth in the exosphere, we can find. So these are the means this information about the layers of the atmosphere. Okay, so children, I hope you understand the topic, right? The layers of the atmosphere. Okay, structure of the atmosphere. So once again I will give you recap. Here in the structure of the atmosphere we have 5 layers. Okay, in that first one, troposphere, and troposphere where we live in, right? this is most important layer for us, and because whatever we are taking, breathe oxygen exists in this layer. Okay, and this extends up to 13 kilometers on an average. Okay, and next coming to the stratosphere. Stratosphere is the second layer of the atmosphere, and after the tropopause, stratosphere will start. In the stratosphere, the weather will be dry. Okay, no clouds will be there, no rains will be, so it will help the flights to fly in. So in this stratosphere only we can find the layer of ozone, very thin layer that is, and because of CFCs it is destroying, right? So we need to avoid that CFCs. Okay, and based on because of flights also while traveling, that will release the CFCs. Okay, and next coming to the mesosphere, this is the third layer of the earth, and it extends up to 50 to 80 kilometers of height, right? And in this layer we can find the meteoroids. Okay, and next coming to the thermosphere. Thermosphere is the fourth layer of the atmosphere, and in that we can find ionosphere also. Okay, so this is the fourth layer and this is the highest layer. Okay, up to 80 kilometers to 400 kilometers of height we can find this thermosphere. Okay, and next coming to the exosphere. Exosphere is the last layer of the earth, and it touches the interplanetary space, right? So we can't determine the height of the upper limit of the layer of the exosphere. Okay, only lighter gases we can find, those are hydrogen and helium, and in that the density also very low, and air also very low, very less, right? So children, this is about the layers. We have 5 layers completely, right? So I hope you understand the topic. We'll meet you in the next module.